All right, boys. Um, Welcome back again. Um, I'm using a new mic, so I hope you can hear me pretty well. So let's just start with this. And first of all, this is a multi USB jack port, and this is poly modeling, is not NURBS, and it's part of the other pieces that I have done before. As you saw the previous live that I did with the headphones, that it went pretty bad because I just forgot that I was listening some music and I just screwed it up because YouTube just canceled the live, so I couldn't just record it properly. So let's just start just doing something um, in the same way that we were working with the headphones for texturing and things like that in Substance Painter. So as you remember, I was working in a pretty, I mean, in an old version of Substance Painter because for me it's a little bit more flexible. The new versions are pretty cool, but my main concern is that I don't have enough money for invest in renting and buy the new license. So I'm just working with the previous version that is, if I'm not mistaken, is the 2021. So at the end of the day, things are gonna be exactly the same. We will not suffer so much for these kind of things. So let's just start. And what I did previously with this, I just subdivide this guy like this, and I just change the USB smooth from keep boundaries to keep corners because I don't want to have any troubles with painting and smoothing subdivisions in the UVs. So probably with this, what I'm gonna use, I'm just gonna export this guy as a FBX. So I already have um, my setup in here. So I have my folder and I already exported, but I'm gonna tell you what I changed in here. So I have my SP settings in here. So what I did is I'm just exporting the select objects. I don't need empties, I don't need cameras, lamps, or amateurs or bones. The only things that I need is the mesh, and for others is for materials and some other specific settings in there. So also in these kind of situations, for example, when you're texturing in Substance Painter, it doesn't matter if the new versions are just working properly with subdivisions in custom. You can change it inside of Substance Painter. I prefer to subdivide before. So with this, I just have, for example, I applied the units, I use the space transformations, mesh, orders, and also I applied the modifier for this occasion. So this is the USB jack dot FBX. So as you can see here, the weight is completely different than the USB jack low and the bottom, because as you can see here is 494 kilobytes and this one is almost 8 megabytes. So I already exported. So I'm gonna open Substance Painter in here and then I'm going to new, and now I'm gonna start just thinking about it, because in this kind of case my UVs for this guy are just in one UV set. I don't need anything anymore. I just take my precautions before anything else, because I scaled twice some of the pieces, the smallest pieces. I just scale it twice in here, and I just export. I don't need UDIMs for this. It's not necessary at this point. So I'm just gonna turn off the UV tail workflow. So I'm gonna start just working with 1K in here, because as long as you remember, in Substance Painter is non-destructive work in here. So what I'm gonna do, I don't use templates because I'm gonna use the PBR shader that I already have in there. So it's for me it's 100% okay. So I'm gonna go here in File, in Select. Then I'm gonna just import my USB jack FBX, and then I'm gonna just click OK. So let's just watch it first, because sometimes it brings things with the normal faces in reverse. So I can see things are going pretty good. So let's just start in here. So um, let's just know for a while a little bit. Let's just meet all the things here in Substance Painter. First of all, when you're working in Substance Painter, you need to be conscious that this layer belongs to this guy in here. Is a direct paint layer, so don't use it, guys. This one is just for special occasions, so I'm just gonna delete it because I prefer just to work with fill layers, are more customizable. And also I'm just gonna start just applying some specific things in here, and I'm gonna explain to you right now. So first of all, we have these 5 channels in here. So we have base color, metallic, roughness, normal, and high maps. I mean bomb mappings, bomb maps. So I'm gonna add some specific channels that I create before, specifically for when you are in production and you want to send everything after surfacing or texturing. So sometimes the lighting guys and compositing guys, they're gonna need a lot of masks in order just to be more comfortable when they have to change things. So I already have my user 0 in here. So with this, I can just apply the sRGB in 8 bits. I can use RGB colors in order just to apply masks for this process. So it's because sometimes the guys in compositing, they just want to change, for example, the negative port that is in the top in here. For example, they want to put, for example, I don't know, blue color in here, and then yellow, and then red, and then I don't know, black color. So the RGB mask are gonna help us and to send or deliver, if you're working in shot grid or shotgun, however you want to call it, or perforce, if you want to send something properly for production. So I'm gonna just start just developing right now with you guys the first materials in here. So I'm gonna create a couple of layers in here. I'm gonna create a master material in here, but I'm gonna show you something, because maybe I just kept my previous material that I did is a generic one. I'm going directly to the smart materials in here, and then I'm going to my personal shelf in here. So as you can see here, I have a generic one. This one doesn't come with the software I just created. It's something that is not fancy. It's something that is gonna help me just to avoid creating one by one layers. So I'm just gonna drag it and put it in here. As you can see, it's a folder in here, and I call it just generic. You can just change the names. It has a color channel for one layer. It has a metallic channel for another one, roughness, and this one. So you can just continuously just dragging and dropping in here. And for example, for this one, I'm gonna just call it black plastics. So what I'm gonna start just doing is that I'm just gonna start just with the black plastics for the body of the USB jack. So I'm just gonna click in here, and this one is gonna be our base layer. Just call it base. I'm so sorry, guys. Sometimes I don't have so much space anymore in my desk. base. So I'm just gonna change the color in here. First of all, as a senior artist guy, I'm gonna give you some recommendations in here. First of all, when you're texturing and you are painting in here, it doesn't matter if you're working in Mari or Substance Painter, or even though with the new software with Marmoset. So you need to take in mind that when you're texturing, for example, with black and white colors, those are neutral colors, and you need to consider that compositing guys and lighting guys are gonna just start just working with our surfacing development. So never paint things 100% black, 100% white, because you need to leave a small margin of error when you are just texturing or surfacing, because compositing guys are gonna just start playing with levels, with color correction and things like that, or even though replacing colors. So first of all, I'm just gonna start, for example, with 0.020, something like this. No, possibly 0.010. This is 100% alright for me. I still have a margin of error in here, as you can see, between black and it's a small gap, but I can just change it. So what I'm gonna do in here is I'm just gonna leave it. This is gonna be my base color for the jack, and don't worry about that. It's texturing right now. The thing's 100%. I'm just gonna delete these guys in here because I don't know why it just came with this guy in here, and I'm gonna just delete it. Oh, okay, I'm gonna just re-import this. Something happened with the export in here, so I'm just gonna re-export this in FBX because it brought secondary material in there. So let me just export this guy, and I'm just gonna re-import. Just gonna call project configuration, then select, and then this guy in here. So there you go. Preserve strokes and positions on the mesh is pretty important. So then you can just start just reassigning textures in set, and I'm gonna just delete the material .004. I just need this one, the jack_m. It's gonna be for it's gonna be the main material. We don't need to put one material for metals, one for plastics and things like that. You will need, for example, in characters is completely different. In characters, for example, you have one material for the eyes, one for the tongue, one for the skin, one for the clothes. But for props and assets, it depends. If you're gonna do something like for glass or things like that, that is mixing some metals in there, then you're gonna need two shaders in there. But most of the time there's a lot of prop people in the industry that they work with only one material, and they can just start just mixing material just in one layer material in outside in Blender or Maya or even 3 Studio Max or Houdini. So let's just continue here. I'm just gonna focus on the body in here. So let's just, because I'm gonna start just working with the baking process. The baking process is gonna feel a little bit strange for you guys if you have a small knowledge about Substance Painter or Marmoset. I'm gonna do a dirty trick in here. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna just bake with the same, exactly with the same object, because this object is already a high resolution object in here. As you can see here, it's already smooth, it's already subdivided. So I'm just gonna try just to bake with the same guy. I just need curvature, I just need ambient occlusion in here. So I don't need normals because this is a high resolution in here. I don't need the IDs. That's the reason, because I'm gonna paint my personal RGB masks in here. So I'm gonna just uncheck thickness, because we're not working with subdivision with subsurface scattering. Position could be alright, but I don't need it right now. I'm gonna just work with ambient occlusion in here, and then I'm just gonna increase a little bit the sampling in here, and then I'm gonna change the self occlusion because I don't want collisions with the rest of the objects. So just only with the same name of the mesh, and that's it. Also for the curvature map, I'm gonna increase in here also for 128, and this, and then only say by name, and that's it. And then I'm gonna just start baking. I don't want to bake 512. I just want to bake in possibly 4K. It's alright. I'm just gonna start. Then let's just wait. These two maps, these two detail maps, sometimes if you're working in a large project, ambient occlusion and curvature map, those are gonna be the slowest detail maps in a project. For example, for Pacific Rim and things like that. I remember one of my best friends, he was working in there in Pacific Rim, and he told me that for the baking process in Mari and other softwares, it took almost like 8 hours or 4 hours in there. It's really madness in here in the industry. So what happened with the baking process? It just went all right. I guarantee that, guys, because it's I know pretty well the process. So how can we see the detail maps in here? So as you can see, in the top we have the single channels, but in the bottom we have the mesh maps. When I was working at EA, we call it detail maps because these guys in here, we use them as masks in order just to make details in some specific areas. So you can click in here and you can see the ambient occlusion is just working really nice. This is nice and dandy. This is smooth in here. Also, you can see it in here. Let's just change it, not in here. Let's just click B, and then you can switch between the maps in here. So the curvature map is just working properly. I don't have any troubles in here, so this is working really good actually. So let's just start just working with this guy. So I'm gonna just start just trying to make some wear and tear in the plastic in here. This is gonna be like a plastic metallic a little bit. I'm just gonna add a little bit metallic in here, like 0.1, something like this. And then I'm gonna just duplicate this guy in here. This is gonna be our lighter color, and I'm just gonna change it just a little bit like this. And we're gonna use this guy in order to affect this guy. We're gonna produce all the wear and tear in the plastic with this color. So we're gonna just right click, then add a black mask, and then on the mask, not in here. This is something different. This is gonna manage all the channels, and this is gonna manage the mask. So right click in there, add a generator, and then we can just go to properties in here. So in here we have a bunch of generators in here. So we have curvature map, we have lights, we have triplanar, blah 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 blah. This one, the mask editor, this is the master one. So you can produce with this custom generators masks for everything. But in this case, we're gonna use this one, the metallic, the metallic edge wear. So this is already done here in Substance Painter. So it brings pretty nice settings in here and control for wear and tear. So as you can see, it works like this. It's just affecting the in this case, for example, the curvature map is affecting 100%. It's from 0 to 1. As you can see here, you can just start playing with the slider in here. Also, you can just work with the ambient occlusion in here, but it's gonna affect 100% all the piece in here. So also we have one level of smoothness in here in the edge. you can just start just increasing and changing this as much as you want. Also, we have a level and contrast. We have triplanar blending the contrast for the texture that is already for the grunge in here. So we have this, how much amount we have in here in this. So we don't have some, we don't want so much. We want something like this. And then you can just start just playing with the color in here if you want something a little bit more lighter, something like this. Or even though if you want to do something a little bit more crazy, just put this guy in the top and then add the metal channel and the roughness in here, and then we can convert this guy in metal 100%, something like this, and it's gonna affect all the wear and tear, as you can see, just in the mask. And that's it. For example, let's just increase, for example, a little bit more the linings in here, and you can see 100% is just affecting the colors in a more interesting way. For example, something like this. Check this. So as you can see, it's a little bit pixelated because I'm working with a low resolution in here. I highly recommend don't work with 4K. If you don't have a good machine, your memory cache and your RAM is gonna just start suffering. Even your graphic card is gonna just suffer so much. So we're gonna just leave it in 2K, for example, at this moment, and then we're gonna start just working and moving all of these guys in here, for example, for the amount, something like this, just a little bit. And the curvature map, I want to affect just a little bit more, something like this. The ambient occlusion, I don't want to have so much importance in there. I'm gonna reduce the edge smoothness, something like this, and then I'm gonna just start working with the levels in here, something like this. I don't want the metallic to be 100% metallic like a chrome. Let's just reduce to 0.8, something like this. It's a little bit more natural because with the chrome it doesn't look a little bit, it doesn't look like a real. Let's just put 0.8, and then the roughness, let's just increase it just a little bit, 0.150. Looks a little bit much more interesting in here. And the magic is gonna just come in here. First of all, you have to be conscious that this material is just affecting right now everything in here. We don't want to affect everything here in the scene. For example, in this case, I don't want to affect the wire. Also, I don't want to affect the USB port in here. And also the inputs in here. I don't want to affect those guys and these metallic bars in here, and also with the thermic the transmission information in here for these cubes in here. So the magic is this. So I'm gonna add a mask in here, and then I'm gonna apply add paint just to the mask, and then I'm going to my polygon fill bucket, and then you can choose to paint like triangles or quads, or even the fill the mesh 100%, or by UV chunk fill. So let's just add the UV chunk fill in here. For example, for these guys, I just want to affect these guys in here. I don't want to affect everything. And then we're gonna just apply something completely different for this frame in here, because we want to do something a little bit more interesting. And also it looks a little bit flat with the roughness in here, so let's just add something a little bit more interesting. Let's just add a mask in here, and also I'm gonna add a fill in here, and let's just start just playing with this guy with the procedural texturing in here. Let's just go for procedurals, and then we can choose some grunge, noise, etc. Let's just add something a little bit different, like some like imperfections in there, like could be this guy or this guy, I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna choose this guy. Yeah. And then this guy, I'm gonna just put it over the top, and I want to see, for example, how it's affecting the piece in here. First of all, this texture comes with UV projection. I'm gonna change it to triplanar projection, and then I'm just gonna start increasing here this. We cannot see anything because we need to change the values in here, as you can see here. For example, something like this. We need to change all of these guys in here if you want to do something completely different. We can invert the effect in here just to make the scratches not to shine so much, just the port, the plastic. And we can just start just playing in here with more textures or with the properties that the Grunge Scratches Rough already has in here. Let's just, for example, let's just check it in here. For example, something like this. It's gonna give a little bit more things in here. For example, let's just tail in the scratch just a little bit. There you go. Yeah, in some angles we're gonna be able to see the scratches and things like that. We can just add those scratches. We can add a hide, or you can add, for example, this hide map just in the top, and then you can apply an anchor point. So what does the anchor point does in Substance Painter? The anchor point is in charge just to bring all the information that is below. For example, just in this layer, is gonna take all the information from the Grunge scratches and is gonna just take it into this guy. So this guy has a name. I'm just gonna change it scratches, and this name is gonna remind me that I can just call it in here with a mask and start affecting things. Let's just click in here in the fill and go to the grayscale, click it, and then anchor points. You're gonna be able to see the anchor point. So right now you are not able to see the scratches bumping in here. Why? Because I haven't changed anything in here. So as you can see, the properties are just in 0. Let's just increase it, put a negative or positive value, because we already use a negative value in here. So we have this. Let's just add 0.025 or less, something subtle, not so strong, something like this. Yeah, even less. It's just something like this. Yeah, it's working pretty good actually. And so as you can see here, we have so much power here in Substance Painter with all the textures and things like that. So if you see some crispy lines in here, is because I don't work in Substance Painter with a sampling. I hate that because it consumes so much memory, even if you have a good computer. So let's just continue here, and we're gonna just start working with some metals for some parts. So at the moment we had the black plastics in this section, so let's just continue, and we can reuse this black plastic, or even though create a new one with our generic guide that I did before. Let's just click and drag here, and I'm gonna just do exactly almost the same process. I'm just gonna copy some of these guys, I mean just the value. Let's just copy this, Control C, and then just click it in here and just copy. I want to manage exactly the same color. And then for the USB, I want to apply some bump noise in here for this guy. And first of all, I don't want to distract you so much, guys, because many people is gonna say, oh, you're ruining the black plastic that you did before. No, it's because I haven't applied a black mask yet in here. So I'm just gonna add it, and let's just add a fill. This is gonna affect everything, and then I'm gonna apply a paint, and I'm gonna deselect the rest of the guys in here. So just gonna deselect everything in here. There you go. Something like this. Let's see. Because we will work only with this guy in here. So let's just add some textures in here. For example, for this guy. Well, not for this guy exactly 100%. It's just for the guys inside in here. Let's just add some noise with the procedural. We can work, for example, with we can use the cell one. That's not a big deal. That doesn't bother me. But we have some other textures in here. For example, let's see. This one, Dirt 3. Okay, create the black mask, the fill, and then just drag it. So I want to create that like crispy noise that we see sometimes in some of the USBs in the market. Let's just change the UV projection because we don't want the Sims to triplanar, something like this. And let's just repeat. For example, 8, and let's add a negative value in here, and let's just increase the properties here. Let the scale just increase it a little bit more, and 4K, for example. Let's just see how it behaves. It works pretty good, actually. Not so bad, but it's too high the value in here. For example, let's just reduce like this, something like this. Yeah, all right. Let's just increase the tails in here. For example, 8. No, let's just increase it to 16. Something like this. Yeah, we don't need so much weird stuff in there. Let's just gonna increase it like 50. And one of the things for these kind of things, especially for the USBs, sometimes they look plastic but not so shiny. Let's just 0.584, something like this. We can work also with a generator like we work like with this guy. Just copy this guy and just paste it over and play a little bit with this guy in here. For example, something like this. The curvature map, just something like this. No so much. We can add an add paint just to delete some of the parts in here, like with no so much flow. Spacing not in 20. I hate 20 because it's gonna just space the. Let's just delete some random areas in here, like just take some brushes in here. Dirt, something like this. Yeah, there you go. Not so much. Just in some places. not everywhere. There you go. A little bit dirt in there. We can add some interesting stuff in there, but looks alright. Don't worry. We can just add a color in there, and just because you know some of the your fingers are just touching this area most of the time, and just reduce the power in here like 2. That's it. Size, jitter, flow, angle, something like this. Yep. Yep. There you go. And well, yeah, we have part of the USB and part of the shell of this USB jack in here. So let's just add, for example, a color in here. This is gonna be USB. As you can see, guys, we have names in here, so this is pretty important. We name it, name everything, guys, because at the end of the day, if you don't name it, it's gonna be a nightmare. So let's just continue with this. Let's just bring another generic smart material, because we're creating from scratch all of this. Let's just change the color. I don't know which color is gonna be cool for this guy. Possibly, I don't know. Let's just increase saturation to 8 or 945, and then just choose a color in here, like some blue in there, and let's just make it a little bit more dark, like something like this. And let's just make it tiny bit metallic. Blue. And we're gonna do exactly the same process in here. Let's just add a paint, and we're gonna just start just adding in here, just to this area, just for this guy and this guy and this guy. We're gonna have something a little bit more interesting. We can add the metal scratch edgeware that we have in there. Let's just add it. It's gonna be nice at some point. Yes. We're gonna add it in here over this guy, and we're gonna change a little bit the color in here, like with this blue, but I'm gonna just take the information and then I'm gonna change. I'm gonna just make tiny changes in there. There you go. Then we can just start just working like this. As you can see, there's here are the changes in here. So I changed it just tiny bit, just to have some small changes in there. We don't want everything 100% flat. We can make it a little bit more metallic, like 0.284, something like that, like a painting, paint metallic and things like that. And for the roughness, we can just start just using some procedural noise in there, and just to make it a little bit like a glossiness in there. Just go to this guy and use the dirt 3 in there. Yes. Yeah, but I want to do it with a mask because I want to do changes just in case. Just like this. Something like this. Let me see how it behaves. Yeah, something like this, but we need to increase the tailing here with triplanar, like something like 8, something like this. Hell yeah. Yes, let's just increase like 2 times more, add some disorder in there. Now let's just reduce something like this. I want to make it like the cars, like the paint cars in there, something like this. Yes sir. There you go guys, something like this. Yes, yes. And I'm gonna do something pretty special because I'm gonna optimize this. I don't want to create another blue guy in there. So what I'm gonna do in this kind of occasion, I'm just gonna add the blue in here, but the influence, I just wanna produce an influence just in this inner section, but with a lighter color like this. I'm just gonna add add paint in here, and then I'm gonna just add it in here in order to have a duotone. Let me see if I can produce another small color in here. Let's just duplicate this guy. Let's just put it in the top. Let's just make something a little bit more lighter, something like this. Yes. Underscore B. And then we're gonna add the mask, paint, and then just make it like this. I want to have a duotone in here. Yes, hell yeah. And possibly we can just work with blues, so we can change this guy and add it to the rest of the body. Let's just do it with some darker blue in here. Let's just copy this guy. Let's just paste it and then just make it a little bit more dark, something like this. Yes. Oh yeah, there you go. Well, the rest for some specific areas, for example for the intersections in here, for example for these walls in here inside of the inner port, we can apply some metallics in here, for example also for these plaques in here. Let's just add it. Let's just collapse these guys in here. We're gonna just start just working with another new generic material because we're gonna produce our our metals in there. Let's just drag it in, put it in here. Metallic 100%, almost the top, could be the 100%. Let's just change the color in here, 100% white, and the roughness we're gonna just move it just a little bit, just 1 or 10%, that's it. Metals. Let's just add a mask, paint, and we're gonna just add it to these guys in here. Let's just add this guy, Let's just add it in here. I forgot to do something before I start just doing all the texturing, guys. First of all, I commit a big mistake, but I'm gonna show you what is it. So first of all, before you texture something, if you're working in a new pipeline, I mean with the new generation of graphics, try to work with ACES or AGX, depending on the pipeline of production. So I'm going to this section in here, and then I'm gonna start just changing here the active post effects in toning, and I'm gonna change it from linear to log. And then in the bottom, I'm gonna active my color profile because I have the ACES standard log. What happened with this? This is gonna show me the 98% or the 95% of the final result, how the colors are gonna look with the render engine in Arnold or Cycles or Redshift or in any render engine that you're working. So this is pretty important because many people just forget, like me right now, because we work pretty fast all the time. We need to be in the same channel that we're working with the rest of the pipeline. For example, I'm gonna change the HDR because I want to see something like this, a little bit more colors, black and white colors, neutral colors. As you can see, it's working pretty nice and dandy. We broke the roughness for these guys in here, and yeah, we're doing great. I think so. We can break it a little bit more. We can add another one and then just blend it. Let's just make something a little bit more complex. I mean, with more differences. Something like this. Yeah. Hell yeah. Let's just break it. Something like this. Let's just change it to multiply. And there you go, guys. We're breaking the specs in here so we can see the differences in here. So let's just change a little bit. There you go. Yeah, I like it. So we have something like this, and let's just change this guy also. Let's just fold the shapes in here, man. Let's just change it. Let's just add a blue in there. Yeah, why not? There you go. Okay, no. Just copy and paste this guy. There you go. I'm gonna just change it just a little bit more dark. Something like this. It's alright. This color also darker. Not so much. Just like dirt. There you go. And let's just reapply the metals for this guy in here and these guys in here. It's important. Don't forget that. There you go. And let's just apply also for the intersections for the inputs in here. Let's just apply it with a new one. Let's just take this. There you go. And for these guys in here, it's gonna be something pretty basic. I'm gonna just again generic I don't want to mess with the blues, with the blue guys. Let's just use the opposite of blue. Something a little bit like this. There you go. I like this. I love it. Let's just break this. I don't want to have anything. I don't need this channel. And let's just oranges. Let's just paint those guys. There you go. And let's just change this guy in here to this guy in here. So there's a noise that is interfering right now in this section. So I'm gonna just try to find what's going on with this guy. It's the part of the USB. So is this guy in here? It's affecting. Let's just rep what we are. We don't need these guys in here. I think this guy, this guy is affecting, or something else is affecting. Let's just add it again. Fill with the dirt 3 in there. Triplanar 16, and then 2. There you go. Yep. I don't want to affect this section. It's gonna look weird. There you go. Yes. All right. And let's just fill this guy with this. There you go. I'm gonna save this. I don't want to cry. USB jack SP. Yes. All right, boys. Let's just tackle the wire in here. I'm gonna just do it in plastics. That's it. No more. But I'm gonna add some textures in there, some bump mapping in there. Like, could be like those wires wrapped with some fabric in there. I don't know what's going on in here, man. I was pretty sure I textured this guy. Doesn't matter. There you go. And possibly we can just start just texturing this guy. For example, this guy in here, like this, and like this. There you go. Yeah, something fancy. There you go. Could be also this guy here. And we're gonna rip off this guy. There you go. We're gonna have some cool designing here. Okay, let's go for the wire. Smaller materials. Our generic. Let's just put it in there. It's gonna be wire. And then I'm gonna add like darker color, something like this. The roughness, I'm just gonna make it just a little bit like shiny, and then I'm gonna start just working with the high maps in here while mapping. There you go, fill, and then seal. Let's just check some of the fabric and geometric stuff in here. Let's see. So we can work with this one, with the wavy like this, or we can work with this wave 3, or we can use the fibers depending of let's use the fiber 2. Let's see how it behaves. Let's see. Okay, let's just increase this guy a little bit, and then I'm gonna just change this guy. For example, I'm gonna just start repeating the textures in here. For example, like this. Let's rotate it 90 degrees, something like this. Oh yeah. But let's just try Triplanar how it behaves, because we don't know. Or we can just the wire. I just want to affect the wire. That's it. Yeah. Let's just see how is working this guy, because it looks a little bit weird. So it's gonna be a little bit challenging, guys, because my main concern with this is because I'm using Triplanar. Let's use UVs. No freaking way, man. Planner. Yeah, it's alright. Not bad. Let's just increase this guy like 32, something like this. We don't want this too strange, too much strange in there. Let's see how we can work better tailing, like 4 times. This is what I was looking for, actually. It's looking pretty good, actually. Yeah. Let's just reduce a little bit, like, so shiny. Just like this. It's working nice, actually. Hell yeah. 45 degrees. Let's see how it behaves. It's working pretty good. I love this. Let's just increase this guy, for example, like 6 times, 8 times. Oh yeah, like 0.2, a round number. Let's just use something like this. Roughness, but I want tiny bit metallic, something like this. Yes. And there you go, guys, as you can see here. And the next step is gonna be much more easy because we already finished. We can add some stamps in here, like icons or things like that. I think I have some in here. Let's see. I don't have any. Let's just put the smile. Nah, it's alright. No, I'm just gonna leave it just like this because it's let's see if there's some alphas in here that we can use. For example, for this, we can use these guys, for example, like just to make it a little bit more interesting. I'm gonna add just a flat layer in here, just to add some heights. Let's just add this guy in here, like this. Paint. I'm gonna call it stamps inners. Let's just select this guy here. Let's just in order just to show something a little bit more. We need to restore the flow. We need to change it just a little bit, just to make something different, something like this. Okay, it's not working properly because we need to apply this guy in orthographic, something like this. Oh, it's because I changed many things in here. I need to set them back in here. There you go. We can just add something like this and apply some other stuff in here, like numbers, icons, and things like that. For example, logos. Let's just see if we have something more interesting. Isometrics. Let's see. Oh man. I complicate my life so much with this symbols. I'm gonna use this guy just because I want it. That's it. I almost say a bad word. But okay. Something like this. I don't want to say bad words because they're gonna cancel my channel. I'm not the most important YouTuber guy, but I don't want that YouTube just cancel my channel. I want to keep sharing what I know. There you go. And we can just apply, because this is so harsh and this is so hard and crispy. We can apply a filter in here with a tiny blur. Not so much, guys. 0.1, something like this. It looks much better. We can also add some colors in there, like could be could be, guys. I'm not. I will not put any words on you. Let's just add. In my case, I'm working in 4K. I'm a little bit crazy. I'm gonna add an emissive in here. RGB is okay, and I'm gonna add the emissive guy in here in the color, because we need to add like, for example, like some red color in there. And I'm gonna add this guy into the emissive too, because it's gonna be necessary if you wanna apply some emissive values in there. So let's just save. And all right, guys, here the magic is gonna come right now. Okay, this is something pretty good for you. It's good information, good knowledge. So I'm gonna start just working with my masks in here. So this is gonna be my black mask, RGB. So this is gonna be the base color for that is gonna represent that there's no information in here. So how this works in here, so if we go to the mask, to this channel, let's just see, to the user 0, so we don't have any information. This is not 100%, this is not color, guys. This is gonna behave as a mask. So this is gonna be the base, is gonna represent no information. So let's just duplicate this guy and let's just put CR is gonna represent color red, and let's just change it, for example, to 100% red. And I'm gonna add a mask in here. So how I am going to start working with this, so if the pipeline, if the director of the pipeline tells me, hey Mario, we need to have some RGB masking here, because we're gonna have some variations on the production for some specific part, for example for these guys in here, because we're gonna change the color in compositing, because we don't want to go back and re-render things. So this is gonna be the way. So this is gonna affect just this guy in here. So let's just duplicate this guy, and I'm gonna change the name in here, and this is gonna be CG. This is gonna be green channel. Let's just add a painting here, and this is gonna be the green channel. Let's just delete this, and this is gonna be 100% 1. Let's just start working. For example, in case they tell me, hey dude, I want to change the color for this guy in here, this is gonna be the main man. For example, this guy, not for these guys, but let's just add the blue channel for the mask. This is gonna be CB. So we're gonna change this. This is gonna be 0, and then this is gonna be 100% 1. So let's just add this guy in here, and we're gonna change it for this guy, and this guy. There you go. Okay guys, this is 100%, it's It's gonna be it. So this is gonna be my mask. So I will not affect the wire, the USB, the metals, and the inner cubes inside. So I'm gonna export all of this in XSR because XSR is cool, is nice. So let's just export the textures, and I'm gonna explain. We're gonna output the template in here. Let's just change it to output compact. This is my 100% personal configuration for outputs. So I'm gonna export base color, ambient occlusion, roughness, and metallic just in one file. I'm gonna export normal maps in another file, and this is gonna be the user 001. As you can see here, it represents the color in here. It's exactly the same like this one. So I will just export from base color until mask underscore ARGB texture set underscore money udim, and we're gonna select these guys in here. I'm gonna uncheck these guys in here. I will export all my stuff in XSR because it's really nice, and I'm gonna export everything in 4K right now. Then I'm gonna just select where I'm going to these are the masks, the maps, and I'm gonna produce another folder for the jack, and I'm gonna just export and select this guy. I'm gonna save the settings for the export, and then I'm gonna export. Okay guys, so let's just wait for it. There you go. And let's just go back to Blender, and we're gonna just start just working for these guys. Since we're gonna work with emissive, I think I missed the emissive. Yeah, I think I miss it. Yes, emissive, that's it. There you go. Finish him. Okay, let's just go back to our filing here. Let's just, oh my god, I'm gonna divide this section in here because we're gonna see all the rendering here, and we're going to see our shader editor in here. Let's just delete this guy and perk all the unused data, and let's just bring all the things in here just in once. Multiple images, timer, maps, jack, and let's just bring all of these guys in here. Let's just start just working. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna start just rendering in real time with Ivy, because Eevee or Ivy or however you want to call it, I'm a Mexican, my English is pretty poor, so we are going to work with Eevee at the beginning like this, and let's just start just the connections and understand how it works. First of all, we're working with XSR, and you need to understand some things. We're gonna just leave some specific color space in here that we need. For example, in this case, this is the color. Let's just plug it. This is what we have in here, so let's just leave it aces like this. Let's just change it to RGB. Unfortunately, the list is so freaking horrible. I hate it at some point. Let's just go back to aces. Yes. This guy. Okay. These are the colors that we're working with. So these are gonna be the final colors at some point. Let's. I'm concerned a little bit, guys, because oh man, this is so frustrating because there's so many freaking options in here with the aces, and I don't want to use everything. I just want the sRGB, and if I type it, it doesn't work. Yeah. Oh my god. They made a mess with this. We need to ask for. Let's see. Okay. These are gonna be the colors at the end of the day. Yes. Okay, for this guy, we need the raw because there's no data for these kind of guys in here. For this guy, I just need the sRGB, like this guy, and also for normal maps is we need raw. Why do we need raw for ambient occlusion, roughness, metallic? Because they don't have any information of color, so we only use black and white information in there. And for the normal map, why we're using raw? Because it's transforming the information of the RGB into information of data. So we need raw for this guy. And for the mask, I don't care in this, but most of the time I use sRGB. So I'm gonna just add sRGB in here for this guy. And emissive, same thing. Let's just add for the emissive, just click it. I'm just gonna plug it, and then I'm gonna put 1. And as you can see, it's just working right now. Let's just put 0. See how it's working right now. Okay. And then how am I gonna plug? Here the magic is gonna come, and the understanding for many things. How the things are gonna work with this guy like this. For example, this that it has ambient occlusion, roughness, and metallic just in one file. So we need to separate the information in here. Let's just separate the color. Let's just plug color to color, and then we can just use the green is for roughness, blue is for metallic, and red is gonna be for ambient occlusion. So let's just plug the green into the roughness. Let's see how the things are just changing right now. As you can see here, the magic is to start working right now. Metallic, there you go, and there you go. We have the magic just start working right now. What happened if I change this into the original one? This is working really good, actually. Yeah, this is, I think this is it. Let's just change this guy also. Oh man, I hate this. So freaking horrible. I don't need all those. Just need the basic, because I can change the color with color correction, but this is something that comes by default. Oh Jesus Christ. All right. And for the normal map, we only need to go to vector and then normal map. Don't use normal. This is for changing the light with passes. So with the AUVs. So color to color, then normal to normal. Let's just see how it's just working properly. Yeah, actually it is. It's working really nice. Let's change it like this. Yes, it's working really nice. Okay, for the mask like this guy, we only need this when we are exporting. So when we render and we output all the final results, we make an extra output with this guy. So we're not gonna use it right now. It was just an example. So as you can see, this is the final result, but we can just change it and make changes at the end of the day with the final result of these guys in here. So we need to just start just rendering with cycles, I think. Yes. Yeah, everything is working properly because yeah. Yes. All right. Let's just change this guy to the UV editor because we're gonna start rendering with cycles. Let's just change it to cycles and just use the GPU. I have some presets already in here. I will not explain those settings because that's for another tutorial or another live. Let's just change some of this. Let's just change it to render in real time. There you go. Oh yeah. Let's just call on an XSR or HDR. Yes. I'm gonna use the black and white version of this guy. There you go. As you can see, things are working properly. We can keep just breaking the, for example, the roughness if you want. For example, in here, as you can see, we can add, for example, color ramp, and then just start just playing with this, but not today. It's working as I wanted. We can change the colors in this, like this, something like this. We can have multiple a lot of variants in here. That's something that it's alright. For example, I like this one. I like this red one. Looks pretty good actually. Let's see how it behaves. For example, this is nice too. Let's just go back. For example, something like this, and let's just decrease the color, something a little bit more like yeah, hell yeah, guys. Yeah, I love this color, guys. I'm gonna paint my own one here. So at the end of the day, as you can see here, we can just start just making some final render with the camera, and that's gonna be the end of this live. Let's just see the final result. Yep. Let's see how it behaves and how the rendering. I'm just gonna increase like 512 for 64 in minimum samples in minimum areas. The light path, I'm gonna just change it. I have my base settings in there. I'm the clamping, I don't want to kill my black and white colors. Ambient occlusion like 64, and then the performance, I'm just gonna change it. I have my base too, and let's just render, guys. Let's just see how how it works. There you go, baby. Looks nice, but I'm gonna need to change the rotation of this guy in here of the XSR. I'm gonna just rotate it in order just to have something a little bit more interesting. Okay, there you go. Let's re-render. Okay, it's going pretty good actually. Yeah, and there you go, boys. This is the final result. You can just start playing with the render passes with the AOVs. You can just extract things in here and then just start just working with this stuff in here. Let's just change. Let's just render this with the noise data and with the Cryptomates. Yes. All right. We can just extract this guy. This. We can just take it out. Let's just do it. Render. Let's just go for compositor in here. Use nodes, backdrop, and we're gonna see the final result. Okay. In the compositing area, we can just take all of this and just start just working color correction, things like that, and isolate stuff. For example, something like this. For example, with the Cryptomates are really good because you can isolate many things in here. For example, you can isolate by materials in case that you have different materials, assets. For example, something like this, the inners. If you want to change just the color of the inners, just select these guys, and then you will be able just to see the inner guys in here. So Cryptomates are really cool, and they're gonna help you to do many things in here. For example, if you just wanna let's just imagine you have this in the background and then over the inners, and then you said, or possibly the art director says, okay, I don't like this green, rip it up, just change the color, it's horrible, I don't want it, the client doesn't like it, just change it, just like this. So you can just change it here in post-production, in order just to have something a little bit more different, to accomplish all the wishes of the client. For example, let's just imagine, let's just duplicate the Cryptomate and just go to this, delete all of this, and let's just select, for example, oh man, Jack 1. Let's just change, for example, this, the color of the body. Let's just the client says, I don't want that horrible color that you had before. So let's just change it to possibly, or possibly he says, okay, I like the color, but I want it a little bit more. I'll just correct the color with film like, something like this. Okay, so in order to understand, this is gonna be, for example, the inners, and then this is gonna be the body. Have order, guys. Always put names also in these guys. For example, let's just put body in order to know what you have in there. Let's just put inners, and then with this guy we need to duplicate this guy and then just connect the main body, or this guy in here, and then this guy in here, and then over. Then you can see the changes in here, for example, something like this. If you can see, I'm isolating, for example, the specs in here. You can isolate all of this information that we already have. So I think that's it, guys, and thank you very much for watching, and I hope my English was not so chaotic. Thank you very much, and see you around, guys.